Hello, welcome everyone to Microsoft Accessibility, Microsoft Word. We'll just give it another few minutes just to see if anyone else is coming in, and then we'll get started. If you've got any questions at any time, then feel free to ask them in the chat window. And if there are any issues as well, yeah, obviously just give us a shout in the chat window. Okay, I think we've got everyone, so we'll get started. Welcome everyone to the Techability webinar, Microsoft Accessibility in Microsoft Word. I'm very lucky today to have Arran Smith with us, who's Microsoft's UK SEND and dyslexia consultant. So we'll have a session focused on the accessibility options in Microsoft Word, and then at the end a chance to ask any questions. Feel free to ask any questions as we go in the chat window, and I'll bring them up. And yeah, if I'll pass over to Arran.
Thank you very much, Neil. I'm just going to show my screen. Pick the right one. So hopefully now you should all see my my presentation. So welcome everyone to this webinar. Just going to give you a brief overview of Microsoft Accessibility first, just so you can see where I come from, why I'm involved with Microsoft and what I'm doing. And we're going to go straight into talking about Microsoft Word and showing you some of the features within Microsoft Word that's built in design for accessibility. So just starting from the very top, Microsoft has this mission. Our mission at Microsoft is to empower every person in every organization on the planet to achieve more. And it's set by this guy here. This is Satya Nadella. And Satya Nadella is our third CEO. I got it right. I was going to say fourth. He's our third CEO. And he has he's been a veteran of Microsoft for over 25 years. He started as an engineer. He ran our cloud business. He ran our search business, and he now is the CEO. And when he made this tweet that I saw, where it says, "Accessibility is a Microsoft priority. We focus on designing and building products that our customers love, and that are accessible for everyone and built in for each of us." And that is so true. When I show you what is now built into Microsoft Word, both online and on desktop, we can really use it to help and support our students, mainly in the areas of SEN, but also in that wider concept it is. So just to start a few things, these are some people. As I said, it started from the top, and there's a team of people that are involved in accessibility. And I just want to give you a quick overview. This is Jenny Lafleur, our Chief Accessibility Officer. Her story is that she's worked for the company for a number of times. She actually worked on Hotmail. She is actually deaf herself, so she has a disability, and she actually manages and sets that internal and external policy around accessibility. This is Hector Mento. Hector is our accessibility evangelist for Europe. His role is to deliver Jenny's message. This guy, which is not the best picture in the world, this is Mike Tholson, and Mike is the product manager for OneNote Education, and also the principal product manager for Inclusive Classroom. He's my boss. This is a picture of me, because I can't say that you wouldn't know who he is because you can't see me. Just a bit about me. So as I said, my name's Arran Smith. I am an independent consultant for Microsoft. I run my own company called the SEND Group. I've worked in the field for over 15 years of dyslexia. I am severely dyslexic myself. I'm a user of assistive technology. I've been using assistive technology for over 10 years. I've worked in the AT field for many years around supporting AT companies. I did work for the British Dyslexia Association for 5.5 years as their membership development officer. So I have a lot of experience around dyslexia, and I live it every day. So one of the things I just want to show you is this. This is my picture that I always bring up about dyslexia, and just to make sure that we think about stuff. And for me, whenever we are looking at technology, we must think about the differences, the difficulties, and the strengths of any person. And we really should understand that person, because maybe that we could generalize and say that everyone needs text-to-speech and speech-to-text, but actually they may not need all of that. And that's a very important thing we need to think about. So Microsoft has a mission, that mission that I talked about. Now, what we actually have added to the mission is we say there's 1 billion people in the world that have a disability, and we need to support them people. So what we did was we added on to that mission. So that mission is at Microsoft, our mission is to empower every person on the planet to achieve more. With more than 1 billion people in the world with a disability, there is no limits to what people can achieve when technology reflects the device of the way they use it. And that is so true. And basically we have a list of accessibility features built in across our Office platform. And like today we're going to concentrate on Microsoft Word. But actually we are looking at all these areas. So as an organization, we are looking at mental health, neurodiversity, mobility, hearing, visual, and learning. And over these 4 webinars we're going to do, we're hopefully going to cover quite a bit of this information in the different products and what's out there. So let's just talk about Microsoft Word. So Microsoft Word is basically split into probably probably four categories. You have Microsoft Word Desktop, Microsoft Word Online, Microsoft Word on Mac, and Microsoft Word on iPad. There is other variations of them, but they are the 4 concepts I'm going to look at. Today, really, we're going to talk a little bit more about Word Desktop and also Word Online, just so you get a bit of brief overview of the 2 products and see what accessibility features are built into both of them so we can support our students. So in Word Desktop, we have an accessibility checker, and I'm going to show you accessibility. I'm actually going to live demo this. An accessibility checker is there to check our documents to make sure they're accessible. And I'm going to show you what it means and how you can actually check this out. We have Read Aloud built in. So this is text to speech. This is built in, and it's part of that of Microsoft Word. Spellcheck Read Aloud, which is an amazing feature that I really like. Syllable division, color changes, column widths, focus line or line focus, and dictation. So these are the 8 things we're going to talk about today. So this is just a brief overview of what Accessibility Checker looks like. I'm going to demo this in more details. What's happening here is this document here is being looked at, and the person's gone into the review tab and they've seen that actually this picture has got no alternate text. They've clicked on edit and they're going to add the alternate text in. Now this is the old view, and I'm going to show you what it looks like in the newer view, so in the more up-to-date version. One of the benefits of Office 365 and Microsoft Word is that if you're using it as part of that package and you want to collaborate with someone, even though now, where previously you would have thought you'd have to be online to collaborate, as long as your computer is connected to the internet and you're saving your documents into your OneDrive, you can collaborate. And what it means then is we have this opportunity to be an inclusive co-author. It allows me to say work with Neil or with Phil on a document, and they would never know that I need some special arrangements. I need that arrangement, that built-in kind of concept. I know that many of our primary and secondary colleagues have this concept that actually students really find it difficult to actually see, to actually be different. And maybe in our HE and FE sector, we may have the same concept. What this allows us to do is allows us to actually change the view, but still do the editing. So where in our previous webinar, we talked about learning tools built into OneNote, learning tools is very much a very strict, you are in that view, that is all you can do, where this time you can actually be in this view and you can actually change some of it. I also mentioned about Spellcheck. So Spellcheck used to be like it shows there on the left, and now it's kind of changed a little bit. And what we've got here is we've changed it to actually have only 3 and also has some synonyms related to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to jump into a Microsoft Word document that I've got open. I've got it open. I'm just going to bring this into the screen here. So this is my Microsoft Word document open. I just want to show you something here. I'm just going to quickly do this and just copy that. So now my paste icon has appeared here at the top. Now, one of the things that you can see here is that actually that you may have noticed that actually some of the icons are a little bit different. If we look at like across the icons, mainly on the home screen, I think the pace one is probably the easiest one to look at. You can see here that it's a little bit different. So if you remember back on the presentation when I was showing you here, I'll just go back a few slides to let me just go back a few slides so you can see. Here, the paste button here used to look like that, and the kind of the buttons are thicker. Actually, on the newer versions, they're actually a little bit cleaner. This is an accessibility view. This view has been designed to be more pleasing on the eye and more accessible. But let's talk now about some of these features. So I said to you that one of the features was Spellcheck Read Aloud. So as you can see here, I've got a document that doesn't relate to this picture. The picture's in there for a reason, and I want to explain in a second. It says here, study of Earth landform is called, and I've put physical with an F, which we know is spelt wrong. Now what I can do is, I know that because I've read this document a number of times, I know what it says, but if I was a severe dyslexic like I am, and I may not know what this word is, I may have spelt it wrong, I can press the right mouse button on the word, and basically here my spell check comes up with three kind of options here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up one of these words. I'm going to click on this button here and click Read Aloud. Now I'm hoping you'll be able to hear this, okay? Oh, sorry.
Finical. No reference information.
So it said the word finical, and then it said no reference information. So what it is, it read that word to actually say to me, no, that's the word I think it is, but I'm not sure what it is. Now, for me, I know it's not the word finical. Let's do the next word.
Fiscal, similar to economic, financial, monetary.
Now, because this is all free, it's all built in, it is using an American voice, so that the word was fiscal, and I may not have heard that very well, but I did hear the word monetary and financial. So I know that my document is nothing about money and nothing about finances, so I know that's not the right word. Let's try the last word.
Physical, similar to bodily, substantial, brute.
And that's the right word, physical, and we know it's physical. So we know now that's done. So now what I want to show you to talk about a bit more about accessibility checkup. And what I want to just highlight to you, I'm just going to use a tool built into our product here. And I'm just going to show you this here that I'm just highlighting here. Can you see there that it says investigation required? Now what that is that means that that this document is not accessible. So I'm just going to remove that and put this back to my actual normal mouse. So just here is where it's saying accessible not needs investigation. Now this is kind of a part of the newer version of Word. This is not an enterprise, or sorry, it's not an elite or a insider program. This is a version that I pay for every month, so it's not a Microsoft like first one out the box kind of concept. It is there. That is what's there now. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to our review tab. And basically see here, there's a button here that says accessibility checkup. So I'm going to run my accessibility checkup, and basically it's telling me that there is one error with one picture. So picture one has got an error. There is only one picture in this document that's got an error. And what it is there is no alternate text. I need to add my alternate text in. So this is now telling me I need to add my alternate text in. Now I can write in here one or two sentences about this. Now the benefit of what Microsoft is doing though is on top of actually having this feature built in, we also have our Office services. We also have services built in. And one of the things we can do is use artificial intelligence to actually look at that picture and say, know what, generate the description for me. As a dyslexic, that'd be amazing. So what it's just going to generate it says there, a group of young men playing a game of football, description automatically generated. Now what we can do here is we can say, okay, rather than young men, we can say young, CHILD, chill. And you can see here that I've got a feature that I'm going to talk about on our last webinar about Windows 10, which is our predicted text. And you can see here we've done that, and I can take that out because I don't need that in. It's now got a tick saying that this is accessible to go. So what it means now is that if I was someone that was blind, I would be able to read this picture. And that picture has got a decent alternate text in, a group of young children playing football. And that is more beneficial than actually young men, because I think that's more of a description of that picture. And that's a very useful tool. So then let's talk about one of the other features that I really like. So we talked about Spellcheck, we talked about the accessibility checker. So we now know that the document is good to go. But let's think about now our dyslexics and how we can use it. Now, we can type in it, and as you notice that I have a feature turned on from Windows 10, which is our predictive text, which we'll talk about in our last webinar. But one of the things that may be more difficult for our dyslexics is actually just getting information down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the dictation button. So the dictation button is basically, again, it has to be online. If I click it, it's going to beep at me, and I'm going to stop talking. And it has made a few mistakes. Full stop. New paragraph. I'm going to use dictation in a clear, okay, it is now not understanding my voice. But let's think about using this with Windows 10 and Office 365. Hopefully you notice there an autocorrection. Full stop. New paragraph. Think about words like Mississippi or Constantinople. So you can see there that it has made some mistakes. It's not been too bad, but actually the concept there of getting single word spellings is a really useful concept. Now, one of the things that I now need to do is, as my dyslexia affects me, I will need to listen back to that. Now I can go into the Review tab, and here I have the Read Aloud button. So I press this here. Up comes a little toolbar here, and it actually starts playing. So that sentence is completely rubbish. I'm just going to delete that sentence because it doesn't mean anything. So I'm going to listen to this sentence.
I'm going to use dictation in a clear in a class. Okay, it is now not understand my voice, but let's think about using this with Windows 10 and Office 365. Hopefully you noticed down autocorrection.
So you can see that it's made quite a few mistakes in that paragraph. Now that's more mistakes than it normally makes. It could be that my microphone is not doing very well. It could be my internet connection. It could be down to quite a few things, but actually it can be pretty useful. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and do this again. So I'm going to delete the whole paragraph because it's really easy to delete it and start again. So go into it here. I'm going to use my microphone and speak clearly into it. Full stop. This is to demonstrate the benefits of using dictation in Microsoft Word and Office 365. Full stop. Again, did you see the autocorrection? Full stop. So you can hopefully now, if I press the play button again,
I'm going to use my microphone and speak clearly into it.
So again, I've got that synchronized highlighting.
This is to demonstrate the benefits of using dictation in Microsoft Word and Office 365. Again, did you see the autocorrection?
So that now is actually saying everything I wanted. What it has done is because I stopped, it's put a capital T there that it shouldn't have done, so I'd have to alter that myself. Again, it doesn't always work with grammar, but listening to it does help. One of the things I didn't show you is actually you can change the speed of this and you can change the voice a little bit. So there's a couple of voices here to play with, and you can make it easier. Now what I can do is, I'm just going to tag the language by going into Review. Is it Review? Hold on one second. References. I've lost it again. I do this all the while. There's something that I wanted to do. As is Review. Language. Set proofing language. And we're going to set that and press OK. That language is now tagged. And that's how you tag a language. And what this means now is that that paragraph is actually tagged. And if you drop that into any other program like OneNote or wanted to use it online, it will actually know that that's been tagged. So one of the other features we were showing you on the picture, what I was showing you was the co-authoring view. Now this is in the View tab, and it's called Learning Tools. It's part of the Learning Tools suite. And what it's done straight away, you can see straight away it's changed a lot of things on my document it has. So it has column widths. So we can have it very wide, or we can have it narrow, or very narrow. This might make it easier for some people to read. As you can see that I've got some background colors. Now what we've got is, at the moment I've only got 3 colors to choose from. So no colors, an off creamy color, and then an inverted color. I'm going to put on that creamy color there. And I'm just going to change that column width a little bit, just so you can see it a little better. And basically that means that colors are going to change. We're going to add more colors into this. We can do this line focus concept again, so we can focus into single lines. So I can move this up here, I can move up here. So if I'm reading the document, I can go through each and every line. It is. So I'm just going to turn that off. I can do line spacing, so I can make the lines, so it's text spacing, not line spacing. Text spacing, so I can make the text a bit wider, and I can see what the spacing looks like. And again, I can do syllable division. So you can see here that geography's been syllabized, but also it's live syllable division. So if I go BECAUSE, it is there as well. And that's very beneficial, it is. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to log into Office 365 Online and just show you a Word document there and the comparisons of that. Majoritively, there's not a lot of difference. There isn't. It is mainly that there is a few differences, but it is trying to be as seamless as possible. And this is some of the things that as an education establishment, you have an online version, you have a desktop version, depending on your licenses. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this up here so you can see this. Again, my computer is just being a little bit annoying. Here it is here. So what I've done here is, I've got the simplified ribbon turned on. That's one of the main things I just want to point out to you. So this is my business Office 365. It says simplified ribbon, which basically makes it into this smaller ribbon here. This is one of the features that's coming again. It's going to help lots of students. Going to help all of us. Now straight away we can see that most features we can see here, we know they're very similar. We do have the dictation feature, so I can press the dictation feature. I'm using dictation now online, and I'm testing how well this is working. It is. So this is there. It's there. And basically, that is a system there that's showing you how that dictation is working online, and showing you how we can actually use that feature. Now, what we have got is basically that we haven't got we have got the accessibility checker on here, which actually wasn't there last time I checked. So that's a new feature we can use. In the review tab, we have the Immersive Reader button. So rather than having Read Aloud like we had in the desktop version, we have the Immersive Reader. Now, what the Immersive Reader does is it takes me into the same Immersive Reader view as I had on OneNote. And this is the concept here where we can just read it.
How well this will I hate about, so this is the less.
So that's made a real lot of mistakes. I didn't actually read that. It was the door was being opened at the same time as I was talking. So there was a few errors there. So again, you can see there is some similarities and some differences around what we're doing there with Word Online and Word Desktop. Word Desktop has definitely got more features in, but we're trying to bring some of the features like dictation, accessibility checker, and also the learning tools features into there. Just going to bring back my presentation. I didn't realize I actually closed it down, so I'm just going to start from there. So I'm just going to start from here just so you can see. So there it is. That's this with a simplified ribbon. There's dictation again being shown off. That's not doing what I wanted to do. It's being. So one of the things I want to give you is this. This is here is our ultimate inclusivity view. So this is from came from the Bet Show. This is the web address that's got all the information about all the accessibility tools. It's all in one place. One of the things that I really would like you to do, I'm just going to go back to the slide because the slide has actually jumped. Do have a look at education.microsoft.com, which is where you can register onto our portal and register onto the education portal. You get lots of resources there available. And the whole point of actually what I'm talking about and across what Microsoft is doing is we are all about growing our students, enabling our teachers, and building inclusive colleges. So I'd like to thank you for our half-an-hour talk that I've done. I'm not going to read that. I don't need to read that one. But thank you very much for listening, and the floor is now open for questions. So back over to you, Neil.
Great, thanks, Arran. Could you just bring up that link again?
I can do it. Let me go back. The Ultimate Inclusive link. Where is it? Let me get this here. Ultimate Inclusive. This is it's an amazing link. If I actually just click on it, I'll show you. Now my computer is really slowing. I spilt Coke over my computer the other day, which is it's not helped it. Not helped at all. So you can see here
stress testing your.
Stress testing the buttons on it. So you can see here these are all the features to the Learning Tools page, the Inclusive Help Desk, the accessibility site, the PowerPoint deck. That's all bookmarks. Inclusive classroom development, how to help, how to set up and deploy, inclusive classroom recommended top tips. There's all the videos. There's lots of videos there. That's a really good one. The Kirik one's very good, and some of the blogs that we've done as well in the past. So yeah, really like all stuff put together. That's put together on the 18th of the 1st. It was. So and I think we're going to keep updating that. So it's a very useful web page. That is.
Great. Would it be possible to just copy either of those addresses and just pop them in the chat bar?
I can do that for you. I can.
That'd be helpful. Just thinking people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me know if anyone's got any questions. I suppose mine's going to be similar to the same one that we had last week. Is there anything that we can expect new for Microsoft Word? I understand accessibility checkers new.
Accessibility checker has been moved. It's not new. It has been moved. So it used to be just in the file menu, and now it is now in the main ribbon. One of the things that is going to come out, and I'm just now going to quickly see if I can open another talk, which I'm just trying to find out which is the right one. Hold on 1 second. I'm just trying to find it. Let me just open up, because I was going to put this into my slide, and then I realised that I hadn't got, I hadn't done it when I went through it. Typical. Where is it? That's what I wanted. So basically, one of the things that they are going to do is that we are going to have more colours into Word. So Word desktop is definitely going to have more colours. I'm just going to find the slide that shows it, just so you can see it. And I'll bring the slide up. Here it is here. So I'm just going to bring this in. So this was announced at BET as well. So this is not, it's not cone of silence concept. Right, you can so that's the thing. Told you my computer does not like me today. It is definitely not liking me. There it is. There. Let's just bring this up here.
Not a fan of tea, clearly.
It's not. It's just. Well, like I said, just literally for all the delegates, I had a power cut just before, so you can see here that the colour changes there. So you can see there we've got colour changes coming. So in that kind of view, it means we're going to have more than just the two colours. So that is coming as well. So that's going to be really good. So that's some of the new things we're going to see. I don't think we're going to see more updates. I think when we get to build, we'll see all the updates come in. There'll be more around. The big thing for this year is that the features that we have are being deployed across more concepts. If we just look at the periodic table, this is the newest one, and you can when this first came out, it was like literally it kind of stopped around where the Word desktop was, and they were all smaller, and it keeps growing to different products, and even here there's missing a product. This should say PowerPoint here, because dictation is in PowerPoint desktop. So
great.
It's kind of like a moving concept.
Yeah, I do remember that PowerPoint was the one product that had less accessibility features in. So
it has, yeah. And it is growing, and I think that we have got accessibility checker is built into PowerPoint now, and dictation is built into PowerPoint. So we haven't yet got read aloud, but definitely got dictation. So that's really helpful when I'm writing these presentations.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. Thank you. So I'm just going to change presenter back, if that's all right. And yeah, so what I can show everyone is, so if you want to email us if you've got any questions or any requests for future webinars, then feel free to email us. Follow us on Twitter, and our webinar channel there will have the past webinars so you can access those on demand. I've also got, if I just change the sharing, these are our upcoming webinars. So the next one is the 25th of February, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and that's Microsoft Accessibility Office 365 online. I know there's been lots of requests for that, so that should be interesting. And then after that, the final of the Microsoft series is Microsoft Accessibility Exploring Windows 10, and that's on the 5th of March, 4 p.m. till 5 p.m.
So I'm really looking forward to the last one.
Okay.
Because that's something I don't do very often, and I really like to share a lot of that information. So definitely recommend that one.
Yeah. Okay. Good. And we've had a question from Yasenka Pibanek.
Yeah.
She's asked, what about font for dyslexic people?
So fonts for dyslexic people, there is already like 2 or 3 fonts in Word desktop. So fonts like Arial is pretty good, is pretty standard, but then probably better is Comic Sans or Sentry Gothic. So Comic Sans is very good for our younger students, but probably Sentry Gothic is the better one, and this is because of the A's. So basically the A's and G's in Sentry Gothic are written the same way as we would write them. With other fonts, basically you get the curly A and the curly G's. And they are the things that make it a little bit easier. You can, of course, install fonts in yourself, and so if you want to use like Open Dyslexia or Dyslexia font, you can install them, but they don't work for everyone. And font is something that actually as long as it doesn't have little tails on it and little extra bits, it's probably easy to read. The font there that Neil's using on that document is pretty easy for me to read as a dyslexic. It stands out a bit. I don't see that much visual disturbance. So that's the difference. It does depend on how much text there is, of course. And when we actually get the color backgrounds in, it will be a little bit better for some of our students.
Great. I'm glad my font was okay.
Yeah.
That wouldn't have looked very good, would it?
No.
So we've also got a question from Gillian Shankland. She's asked, will Immersive Reader be replacing the reader in Word and in brackets, not Office 365?
So Word desktop, no. So Immersive Reader will probably not come to Word desktop, because we've actually added Read Aloud in Word desktop. So Immersive Reader will probably be on every product that is online, and products like any Windows 10 products. So if it's a Windows 10 app, it will probably use that one because it uses online capability. So if we looked at Word on iPad, that would use the Immersive Reader button rather than Read Aloud. So that's the difference, and it's how it accesses it. The other thing about Word is the Word code base is very fragile. I got told this, and I was very impressed with it, and that's why it takes a little bit longer to get stuff into Microsoft Word desktop. But they are slowly putting stuff in. So like dictation was announced back in about 6 months ago. It took about 3 months to be deployed. Then we announced in October that we were putting that online, and that took again about 3 to 6 months to be deployed. It was actually fully deployed last week online. So things are going. I won't see that being replaced. I think that we've added that feature in. That feature works really well. It's the same feature that's built into Edge, so I can't see that actually they'll be removing that.
Okay, great. And just one on dictation.
Yeah.
So the dictation tool does that use the cloud? Does that use web services?
Yes, just use web services. Yeah. So dictation you can only be accessed when you've got an online connection. That's why it's any voice. So it doesn't matter what your voice is. You will find that some accents will be harder than others. But the one benefit of our cloud service is that it's learning voices. It's not saving your voice. We're not storing your voice. We may be storing your voice pattern. So it'll be listening accents, it'll be listening for that kind of data. It's basically looking to actually build up that machine learning concept. And it has got better. When it first came out on Word, every time I stopped talking, it used to put a full stop. What I had noticed today is when I stopped talking, it started putting capital letters in. So it kind of isn't there yet, but the comparison is that if you were looking at single words, it is really useful. And for me, with that feature that you saw me using when I was typing, predictive text, that also, between the two of them, actually can be really useful for some of our SEN learners.
Yeah. Okay. So would there be any plans in future to make the dictation tool offline available, or will it stay online?
I have no idea yet. So I think at the moment,
Okay.
I think at the moment it will stay online just because it's easier to manage, it's easier to deploy, and also it's less processing power. So
Yeah.
when you bring it on offline, there's a lot of processing power involved, and actually means that uses up resources. So I think the bigger thing about what Microsoft's doing is that we have the concept of cloud first, mobile first. So a lot of our services are in the cloud. That's very useful for our education team and our education teams, because them services are there and they're free. They're built in also for our commercial customers as a free tool, because they're part of what they're paying for Office 365. But also then for our enterprise customers that may want to use that feature in their enterprise products. So then features, all them features are available to our developers. So that's another reason why that it's a kind of a new concept. It was announced at Future Decoded that them services are now available.
Okay, great. Did we mention styles at all today?
Not really. No, I'm not. To me, I'm not. I don't really use styles personally, and for me, I've never.
Okay.
They're there, and I've used them a little bit when I'm doing certain documents. But for me, I think the big thing about this for me is that as long as someone is able to read something, and as you can see, so your version is an older version.
Yes.
Of Word. So at the moment you're not up to date as such as you could be, and that's always going to be the issue. I think the other big thing about it is actually we need to, both within colleges and schools and with the education really, is actually look at our update process. When are we updating stuff? Are we going to update stuff like literally now or in the future? Are we going to update stuff once a year, twice a year, 3 times a year? Remember, the Office is getting an update once a month, so, and Windows twice a year minimum. I think that's a big thing that we need to be thinking about.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah, if there's no further questions, then we'll finish. Unless there's anything else you'd like to say, Aaron?
No, that's brilliant. I look forward to our one in a few weeks' time.
Brilliant. Thank you again, Aaron.
No problem.
Thank you for everyone for attending today.
Fine. Take care. I'll speak to you soon.
Okay, thanks all. Bye now.
Bye.